It's Mike from True Trading Group. Are you guys ready for an amazing live stream with a massive amount of golden nuggets, all designed to help you to learn faster, trade smarter, and profit sooner? Of course you are, right? Of course you are. But now, before we begin, I want to show everyone something. All right. I'm talking to all TTG members, non-members, all the haters, the supporters, and everybody in between. I want you to see what you've motivated us to build and what we are continuing to build each and every single day. So please do me a favor. Sit back, relax, watch this quick 4-minute video that shows you the new TTG platform. When it ends, we're going straight into the live stream. And I promise you, you're leaving here with real takeaways that you can actually use to help yourselves make some money. All right, let's run it.
Hey, boy, Jim. It's your boy, Jim.
Straight from y'all, street to Wall Street. Anybody tells you that money is the root of all evil doesn't have any. Oh, do wake up, get that girl hyped up just to get a little bit. The only woman in the morning wanna turn on this Becky quick. While the average man's looking at curves like she fine as heck, I'm over here looking at tails and wicks like buy sell. I left the chaos for the market. Nah, I don't want a street spot, I want a stock pick. I know that style got flair, triggered my stop losses, but I ain't got time for distractions. My Vivo with PFs crossing, rich with hot trades from pushing hot keys, strategies and plans to make grand. Still in my tank top, Batman pajamas, house slides in about 5 hot picks of the day, cause I like the way the Dow moves. For hot dips on call, so I got options, two with a lot of value, one with a double bottom. Now I know some folks don't understand, am I talking about my trade or just thinking with my Mac day? You see we're different in the way we move. You move with kittens and your dogs, I move with bears and bulls. I got a green thumb, I grow with the market. Waking up with the future, stacking up some commas. I jump out of bed, make profit, ride, eat my bacon and eggs, make profit, I light up watching them candles, make profit, while I'm still in my sandals, making profit. They used to watch me move them packs, bro, stop it. Now I watch moves in the NASDAQ, making profit. Used to run from the ATF and the cops, now I run down ETFs and making profit. I jump out of bed, make profit, eat my bacon and eggs, make profit, light up watching them candles, while I'm still in my sandals, making profit. Me and Jim Cramer been talking mad money. He said today I'm taking the risk, they got the feds coming, but I got support here with me, I call it short squeeze. You get the drop, she pulls the trigger and shuts it down. If she stays on my watch list, I might have to keep her, but I know better. I'm a true trading group lifer, go ahead, be bold. Trader, get your spy hit, I'll double top that guy, head and shoulders, hit him up with this resistance. Watch him roll over, cause I see big moves in contracts. If I say I made 1 million a day, well that's a large cap. You moving average, that's why you get crossed, get split, get delisted and knocked off. And I'm setting the whole block off. I'm buying GameStop and selling them Roblox off. I take profit, jump out of bed, make profit, eat my bacon and eggs, make profit, light up watching them candles, make profit, while I'm still in my sandals, making profit. They used to watch me move them packs, bro, stop it. Now I watch moves in the NASDAQ, making profit. Used to run from the ATF and the cop, now I run down ETFs and make profit. Hey my family, we do man, make profit. Hey Suge Mike, what we doing dog? Profit, make profit, that TTG money, we can profit.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? What's going on, folks? Welcome to the True Trading Group live stream. I hope you guys are ready for a big week. I think it's going to be a big week. I do. I think it's going to be a big week. We just wrapped up what was a big week. It was the last trading week of the month of January, and it was a big one for us. We had a really big day on Friday. Really big day on Friday. We made money with our Bitcoin short. We made money on our Robinhood short. We crushed a trade on SLV. We even had some fun with TCGL, a little crazy low float small cap that's been moving around. So we were actually just had a really big day on Friday. So we finished last week with a bang. I'm really hoping that momentum continues for us because I see a lot of volatility upcoming here. We are gearing up for what I believe is going to be a red month of February, and I'll explain to you guys the reasonings why I believe that we're going to have a red month of February. I'm going to go over and explain to you my top trade ideas for the week, but it's also a big week of earnings. We got Palantir earnings, we have AMD, we have Alphabet, we have Amazon. So last week was all about Meta, Microsoft, and Apple. This week, it's all about Palantir, AMD, Alphabet, and Amazon. All right. So we still have, and I forgot to mention, on top of all those earnings, the jobs report. We're going to get job openings. We're going to get ADP number. We're going to get the U.S. labor report, the unemployment rate, everything else. That's all happening this week too. So there's tons of catalysts that are going to move this market. You also have a continuing unwind in silver and gold. Gold continuing to sell off, gold futures selling off, silver futures selling off as that sell-off continues. Bitcoin's getting rocked right now, under 80K. And a big shout out and a big congratulations. All of the THC members that are short that Bitcoin trade with me from last week, shout out and a big congratulations because it is paying off big time. Okay, we got into that trade looking for the break into the 70s. We got it into the 70s. We got as low as 75,000 and change. And I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the long-term portfolio as well, because I did nibble on a little bit of Bitcoin in my long-term portfolio. It's funny because I'm literally playing this position both ways because I am short Bitcoin through IBIT from like 90,000. We dropped all the way to 75,000. Okay, we've taken some profits off on that position last week, but we still hold a nice chunk of it. At the same time that I'm short IBIT, I went ahead in my long-term portfolio and actually nibbled on some Bitcoin at 76, just a little bit. I just bought a little bit. I actually think Bitcoin goes lower, but I bought a little bit there at 76. I think right now we're at 77 and change or so. So we'll talk all about that. We'll talk about our trade ideas for this week, how we're going to make money. We're going to talk about earnings, expectations for Palantir, AMD, Alphabet, Amazon. We're going to go over all the key levels on where we want to maybe, transact some trades this week following those earnings releases. Okay. But like I said, I am gearing up for what I think is going to be a red month of February. I'll explain that to you guys on why I think that and how we're going to make some money from it. So welcome to the live stream. My name is Michael Edward Paranati. I go by Michael Edward. I am the co-founder and head trader at True Trading Group. I'm thrilled to have you guys here with us tonight. True Trading Group exists to literally help you learn faster, trade smarter, and to profit sooner. It's what I plan to do on this live stream with you tonight. Of course, though, I do want to thank our partners. True Trading Group is very proud to be powered by the NASDAQ, Benzinga, OpenAI, TradingView, DataBento, and of course, also Unusual Whales. All partners of ours, companies that we work very closely with to build out the TTD terminal, which is the suite of trading tools, AI, and resources that allows our members of True Trading Group to use some of the greatest tools, resources, and analytics that any retail trader has access to that gives them an edge and an advantage over others. Is the reason why we have such an incredible success rate at True Trading Group. So I want to give a shout out and a big thank you to our partners over at those companies. And they're what makes TTG the fintech platform that we are today. True Trading Group is not just a chat room with trade alerts and courses. We do have those things, of course, but we're a fintech platform having received the Benzinga FinTech Award for Best AI Analysis Tool. Okay, that is True Trading Group. Members of TTG are part of something real special, and I hope you guys are ready to roll your sleeves up tonight and get down to business. If this is your first time hanging out on this channel, make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications so you don't miss out when I do these live streams, and also smash that like button and show some love. All right. I want to also make sure you're watching this video live. You should see a red dot. Okay. You should see a red dot next to the word live at the bottom left of your screen. Okay, if you do not see the red dot, then that means that you are watching this video delayed. So click that word live, see the red dot, bring you right up to speed. Okay. Now, before I get into all my trade ideas and my analysis for the week, first, you might be thinking, well, who is this guy and why should I care about what his plan is for the week? Why should I listen to anything it is that he has to say? And even if you're not a Yankee fan like I am, you can still pay attention to the stuff that I share on this live stream. I didn't figure this stuff out on my own. I didn't have to sit in Discord chats or dive deep in Reddit boards or scour through hours of YouTube videos. I began my trading career working at T3 Alpha Fund in New York City. It was actually my first job right out of college. And when I got there, they had me go through a training program before they let me touch even $1 of the fund's money. Then 2008 happened shortly after that. And that was the Great Recession. That was the huge stock market crash. But it was also the same year that I received one of the firm's Trader of the Year awards. Now you fast forward, and I'm the co-founder and head trader of True Trading Group, and along with my team of 7 other professional full-time trading moderators and an over 30-person staff, we've helped thousands of members from all over the world reach their goals. True Trading Group has over 10,000 members. I think we're actually at 11,000 members now from 114 different countries. Truly a global community here at True Trading Group. There's something for everybody. We day trade, we swing trade, we do long-term portfolio investing, we trade stocks, options, crypto, futures, you name it, we trade it. There's something here for everybody at True Trading Group. So if this is your first time here, like I said, welcome, subscribe, turn on your notifications, smash the like button, show some love, and let's dive right in. Let's not waste another moment, and let's talk about how we're going to make some money here this week. I'm going to take a quick little sip of water. We'll check on futures. When futures opened up at 6 o'clock, we were down about 0.5% on the on S&P futures, and we've dropped back down now to be down 0.5%. So we were down 0.5%. We bounced back to actually go flat, and we took back the entire gap down. So we opened up down there just above 69.20. We tapped 69.20, which was the support from Friday, and we reversed it off of that. Went all the way back up to fill the gap back to over 69.60, and have now retraced all the way back down to 69.30, back down 0.5% as the NASDAQ futures are down around 1%. Now, I said to you in the very beginning of this live stream that I do believe that we are going to be gearing up for a red month of February. Now, when I say to you that I think we should be gearing up for a red month of February, that does not mean that we all just run for the hills and run around like our hair's on fire and start screaming from the rooftops and go ahead and start selling and dumping our entire portfolio. It's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that I think that the markets are going to be setting themselves up based on the price action that I've seen the last couple of days, coupled with the chart formation that I've seen over the last couple of months, which is a distribution pattern. And distribution pattern typically occurs at the very top end of an uptrend prior to a pullback off of those previous highs. You also have an ascending wedge pattern that's been forming, which is a reversal pattern as well. And based on the price action that I saw from us last week, I think that we have nice room for a pullback. So I think the main I guess thing I want you to take away from me saying that is not a sense of fear or panic, but rather a sense of excitement, because volatility, I think, is going to increase. And we've already seen a really sharp increase in volatility just over the last several years. You really don't have many days, consecutive days in the overall market where volatility is really low. The volatility that we have seen in the markets over the last several years, and January was no different. You had several large moves in the month of January. Like if you just take a look at my screen, we had the month of January, we made new all-time highs. We had a large gap down. We took it all the way back. We had another large gap down. We took that all the way back. We made new all-time highs, and we had a huge pullback into the 50-day. Then you reversed it all the way back to the upside. You got tons and tons of volatility and price action there where the SPY is moving 7, 6, 8, 9 points in a single day, which is a phenomenal trading environment for active traders like us. Okay. We are fortunate. We're not a hedge fund with tens or hundreds of billions of dollars that we are managing. We can be long and short from one day to the next, from 1 week to the next. And we have been predominantly long biased over the last couple of weeks. I mean, ever since that big gap down got taken back once that gap down in the middle of middle of January got taken back, we were pretty long biased there for about a week and a half or so. And then that kind of flipped around on us on Friday, and then we started to go after some stuff short. Obviously, we've been short on crypto, but as far as equities are concerned, we kind of recently just kind of turned over on the short side of things between Thursday and Friday. And the reason for this, I'll take you guys over to the charts. I want to show you kind of what I'm seeing is, again, a form of distribution. Now, distribution is when you have very high volume sell-off days, but they're not very long-lived. And then markets recover pretty, over the course of the next several days on typically lower volume than the pullback, but you don't get very far. So it's like you kind of bump up against a resistance level, and then you pull back, and then you bump back up into it, and then you pull back, and then you kind of bump back into it, and then you pull back. And when you start to see that type of stuff happen after you've experienced a very large uptrend, then that is typically a sign of distribution. And when you take a look here, we can start to see something similar to that happening, right? You can see this pullback day with, obviously really huge volume on that day, right? Then you can see this big pullback day with really large volume. I don't know why I can't draw this right now. My mouse got stuck, and I couldn't move it when I was trying to draw there we go. All right, there's huge volume day. Then you had this pullback, and you can see this big increase in volume, right? Then you had this huge gap down day, increase in volume. Then you had these 2 days, and you can see, sharp increases in volume. And you can see that, you see, we keep moving higher to new all-time highs, but we're not getting very far before you experience another one of these type of days. And this just leads me to kind of feel like we're getting to the point where this massive uptrend that we have been on just feels like we're kind of rounding it off, right? Just kind of feels like we're kind of rounding it off up here as, you get this distribution of profit taking in here, but that profit taking is occurring inside of what is still obviously a very strong bull market. And I think that just leads us and gears us up to get ready for a little bit more of a pullback, and we can start to get back down into some of these support levels. And that's really what I'm thinking about from a little bit more of a longer term, perspective, not necessarily going to happen, this week or anything like that. Okay. But I think that a pullback back into retest, some of these support levels from October and November, I think would be incredibly healthy price action. I don't think it's anything to get worried about or to panic about, but I do think that it's a higher likelihood, I think, that we pull back down into this region than it is that we rip higher up here to 710, 720. So I am getting myself ready, and I'm starting to, target some short setups where I'm looking for us to give us a bit of a pullback there. Okay, so that's distribution, right? But the other thing that you can start to see here is also what's called an ascending wedge. Okay, an ascending wedge occurs when you have higher highs and higher lows, right? And they start to come to an inflection point, and ascending wedges occur also at the top of an uptrend, okay? And they also signal a potential pullback and a potential reversal. So a lot of times the way that these ascending wedges, pan themselves out is a lot of times you first have to have like a break above the top end, a break above the top end of the ascending wedge. Okay. Where maybe, and I wouldn't be surprised if this happens. I wouldn't be surprised if we have one more new all-time or one more bounce back attempt ahead of us. Like, I wouldn't be surprised the market tried to do this. I don't necessarily think we do, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened, where you do something like this, and everyone thinks like, oh, we're just going to rip this right back up through those highs, and then you start to put in a flat top and almost a triple top, and then once you get up to like that 695, 696, you get a rejection. And that rejection then takes you back and then that would be another form of distribution with another increase in volume as you get that pullback. And then at that point, I would feel pretty confident that this little upward sloping trend line breaks, and then you have a little bit more of a pullback downside from there. So this is the price action I'm getting ready for. Okay. Now, as we take a look over at the futures market, it was interesting when we opened up down around 0.5%, and then we rallied all the way back to go green. We're actually trading right near session lows right now. I was like, oh, maybe we are going to get that bump back up to 695 or so and then roll over. But then since then, we faded all the way back out. 69.20 is a really big support level, guys. 69.20, really big support level for futures. If you guys are watching futures or if you're trading futures, we have a whole futures program inside True Trading Group with moderators that are specifically futures focused, where all they're sending out are futures trade alerts throughout the course of the day. 69.20 is going to be a very, very, very big level if there's any of my futures traders that we have in here. 69.20 takes you all the way back to last week's little 4 a.m. or whatever time it was. It was 4 a.m. It was around 4:30, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Little overnight early pre-market trading session there on the 30th. That little overnight low. And then you had intraday bottoms that got put in there on the 30th as well. So you have a nice little double bottom from the 30th pre-market session, pre-market on the cash session. And then intraday bottom around like 130, 120, whatever it was. And then that's also your futures low right now. So I think that level is going to break, and I think we can look for a little bit more of a pullback from there. Okay. So that's kind of my thoughts with regards to the overall market. But I do think that it's time for us to, instead of looking to buy dips, I'm looking to now start to short bounces. Okay. And what I'm going to start to do is I just released my market outlook report just the other week. If anyone is a member of True Trading Group here and you guys are still did not read my market outlook report, I highly suggest that you do. If you're a member of True Trading Group, it is on your member dashboard on the left-hand side. You'll just see the column, on the left-hand side, there's a column, and then look for where it says TTG resources. Click on that, and you might have to scroll down, but then you'll just see 2026 outlook report. Click on that. Enjoy. I have listed for you there exactly what I think the markets do this year, what sectors I like best, what stocks I like best, what I'm buying in my long-term portfolio, what I'm selling. So all of that stuff is there for you guys. Okay. So if you have not yet read it, again, it's on your dashboard. It's totally free for members of True Trading Group. If you're not a member, I'm sorry, you don't have access to it. That is something I do every year free for all of our members at TTG. Okay. So definitely go ahead and check that out if you guys have not done so yet. All right. But those are my thoughts with regards to the SPY. Let's kind of dive in a little bit deeper. Let's get a little more specific, right? You guys want to talk about some clear specific levels. Let's go to it. So I gave you some levels there on the futures. On the equity side, if you guys are trading the SPY, okay, if you trade options on the SPY, the level to watch is 685, 686. Okay, 685, 686. That is going to be your critical support level for the SPY. All right, there's a lot of structure that you have in here. Okay. And then you've got lows of the day there from Friday, which I think we're going to take that out. So this whole mid 680s, I think, is going to be a really important spot. I'm going to keep an eye on futures too while we're sitting here, because like I said, we are right at that 69.20, trying to hold it. We are. We're trying to hold it. I'll take a quick check over also on Bitcoin, right around 77. Yeah, this is going to be a big trade for us, guys. This is a big trade for us. So we got into this. We got into this short position. We got into this short position last week on IBIT, and we took a bunch of profits off on Friday as we dipped it right back into this like 47 zone. But we're gonna, if unless something crazy happens overnight, you're gonna be looking at IBIT trading in the 45s, and we're short up there from the 50s. So this is going to be a really great. This is a big trade. This is going to be like a 5 or 6 to 1 type of payoff here for us on this IBIT. So congratulations, all of our members in True Trading Group that are on this trade with me. Whether you're, you could trade this a lot of different ways. Whether you're in Bitcoin or if you're in IBIT, you're in futures, you're in the equity, you're in options, whatever it is. I think that's going to be a real nice one for us tomorrow. Yeah, we're still just sitting here, guys. We're down 0.6 on futures. We're still just kind of sitting here. We'll see if we get any. We'll see if this level breaks while we're live, and then we can maybe go over maybe a live futures trade right here on the live stream if we do get something that sets up there for us. That'd be fun, right? All right, so here's the level that I'm looking at there for this. Oops, I didn't mean to delete that. I'm sorry. There's a level that I'm looking at for the SPY. Okay. And I think in order, we've got to clear out 685, 686 is your level. Breaking 684, I think, clears it. Okay. So 685, 686 support level. Breaking 684 clears the level. Okay. And then I think you'll start to drop down easily. I honestly think once that level breaks, I think it's an easy drop to 678. And that's going to be a really key target for me. So if we open up tomorrow, let's say we open up here, right? And then we, break that level. Once that level breaks and you take out 684, I'd feel confident that the level's broken once you take out 684. Any bounce into 685, 686, I think is shortable. And then I think it's an easy follow-through move that takes you to 678. And that would backfill you into this previous low from this was that Monday when we woke up over the weekend when you got the what's it called? The potential tariffs on Europe over the whole Greenland situation. And then that was very short-lived. And then you got this nice little reversal after Davos, right? But I think you pull it right back down into that low, and then you pull it right back into this 100-day moving average, and then you can look for the market to try to bounce in there. But I think this price action this week is very doable. Specifically also, I think that price action is very doable if you do not have blowout earnings from Palantir, AMD, Alphabet, and Amazon. And the reason why this is, okay, Palantir, AMD, Google, and Amazon, because they're all tech, and tech has been weak. Tech has been weaker, and let me actually show you tech. So I gave you my reasons on why I thought the SPY was going to pull back. Let me show you now the Qs. That is as clean of a double top as you're going to find. Okay, this is a very clean double top on the QQQ. Okay, and I think that you're going to be looking at the QQQ is going to roll this over. All right, and then maybe you try to bounce from there. Maybe do something that looks like that. And then I think it pulls back further. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm thinking about us getting here. This 100-day moving average has been support on the Qs. Right? So that's what I'm saying. Drop into the 100-day, then try to hold, get squished by the 50-day, and then these prior lows. This is 618 to 619. And then roll it, and then roll over. Okay? That's what I'm looking at. I'm being very specific. I always do this. On these live streams, if you're new to these live streams, I always do this stuff whenever I go live. I put my neck out there. I don't care. I'm going to be right a lot. I'll be wrong sometimes. It is what it is. I tell you this is exactly what's on my mind. This is what I think the markets are going to do. And when I'm right, I'm right. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not going to be right every time. I'm right a hell of a lot more than I'm wrong, but I'm going to be wrong. And I don't have a problem. When I am wrong, I come on and we say, okay, this is what actually happened instead. And this is maybe the reasons why, and this is why I was wrong. And this is maybe what I missed. And you learn from it. You learn more from, in my opinion, you learn more from the stuff that you're wrong about than you do stuff you're right about. So you don't want to just throw that stuff in the garbage. You want to make sure that you focus on it and you learn from it. So between the price action I'm seeing on the NASDAQ and the price action I'm seeing on the S&P, man, I think you got to get ready for a red month of February. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking for. It doesn't matter. Don't be worried. We just broke 69.20. We just broke 69.20, guys. All right, so that level has just broken. We are now making fresh session lows here on futures. We are now down 0.7%. We are now down 0.7%. We were down 0.6, which were session lows, and those lows have now been broken. We are now 69.15, getting underneath that 4:30 a.m. bottom is like 69.17. We're breaking underneath that right now, 69.15. So it looks like we have a nice little break there. We'll see if we stay under 69.20. I wouldn't say this level's been cleared yet. What do I mean by that? So let me actually address that, because when I say a level's cleared, there's a very big difference in a level being tested and a level being broken. Where a lot of inexperienced traders make mistakes is that they don't understand how wide a particular level actually is, because support and resistance levels are not finite prices. They're zones, they're areas. And the more volatile the stock is that you're looking at, the wider that zone is going to be. That's why you can look at a stock like, you can look at Tesla and just be like, I'm making up numbers. You can say $420 is support, and it goes to $419, and you're like, oh, I'm stopping out. And then it rips to $440. And you're like, those evil market makers, they always stop me out. Well, no, it's just because $419 and $420 is the exact same thing for Tesla. When you're talking about if $420 is support, then if it gets to $419, it's still at the $420 support level, because support levels on Tesla are a couple dollars wide. And you have to understand that. So just because you have a situation where, someone says to you, $80 is support and the stock goes to $79.75, it doesn't mean the level's broken. It means the level's being tested. So just like while we're sitting here live on the watching futures, the 69.20 level, we got to like 69.16, 69.15, which is 5 points on futures is nothing, right? So you're still within that level. That level's still being tested. That level's not yet broken. And now I'm not going to get into all this now, because I want to get into my trade ideas for the week and how I plan on making money. But there's a whole entire lesson that I go over with members of your trading group in my accelerator program that is really just about helping them identify the width of a level, and then how do you know when a level is actually broken? Okay. And I'll give you a quick, real short. Once you identify how wide a level is, I like to see that level be the bottom of the level be broken by the width of the level. So if you determine that a stock has a support level that's $2 wide, and let's say it's from 98 to 100, how do I know the level's cleared? Is when you break the bottom of the zone. So in the example I'm talking about, 98 to 100, that $2 level, $2 wide zone is support. So to know the level's cleared, I like to see the bottom of the level broken by the width of the level. So you break 98 and you drop $2. So if the level's $2 wide, you break 98. That's the bottom of the zone. Drop $2, you go to 96. That level's now considered cleared out. That level's now confirmed broken. And then now from 96, you would start to short bounces back into 98 with stop losses above 100. And now that 98 to 100 zone that was support, now that you know it's cleared, then on the retest back up into it, you short 98s with the stop loss up above 100, and you look for now continuation to the downside to 94, 92, 90, etc. Okay, that's just a quick 30,000 square foot overview kind of lesson about levels and how to know when a level is broken and when it's not. So for now, the 69.20 level on futures is being tested right now. It's not yet cleared out. Okay, does that make sense? Everybody kind of clear on that? I'll go over how to determine the width of a level another time. But this is all the stuff that members of True Trading Group learn, by being part of this platform, being part of this community. They learn from not just myself, right? Yes, I'm the head trader. I'm the co-founder of True Trading Group. I'm the guy you see on these live streams. But there are other professional traders that are moderators at TTG that are damn good. Damn good. Equity traders, futures traders, options traders, day traders, swing traders, damn good. Okay, there's tons and tons that you guys can learn from the moderators at True Trading Group. True professionals that have been doing this for decades to put food on the table and pay their bills and live their lives on their terms. Okay, there's a lot that you guys can learn. And that's part of the reason why we have such a successful group here at True Trading Group. We have a retention rate at TTG that's well into the 70s. Our refund rate is less than 2.5%. We have partnerships with OpenAI and the NASDAQ, Benzinga, Unusual Whales. We have over 10,000, I think it's 11,000 members now from 114 different countries. There's reasons for that. It's because our members have success. And by success, I literally mean our members make money. Not every single one of them. Not all 11,000 members are killing it. I'd be lying to you if I was to tell you that. But the vast majority of our members are doing incredibly well. And by well, I mean they're making money. And I'll prove it to you. Don't take my word for it just because I'm some guy on a YouTube channel. Let's ask members of TTG that are on the live stream, those of you that are members, if you guys are making money and becoming better traders because of True Trading Group, can you do me a favor real quick? Type the number 1. Just like type the number 1 in chat on YouTube. If you guys are not members, pay attention to how many people you see type the number 1. Because these are just members of True Trading Group. These are people that are experiencing the platform. They're part of the community. They're using the technology. There's no difference between these people and you. All these people typing number 1, telling you they're making money. They're not smarter than you. They're not luckier than you. They don't have more time than you. 82% of True Trading Group's members have a full-time job. The rest are either retired or they're full-time traders. So if all these people can do this while working full-time, then you can too. Our whole platform is built around people with busy lives. Our AI, all of our technology, all of our tools is designed to literally help you trade from your phone while you're on the go, when you're not able to monitor things. That's why we have all the AI tools that we have available. That's why, and they're amazing. And how do I know they're amazing? Well, because we received the Benzinga FinTech Award for Best AI Analysis Tool, because our stuff works. And these things are the reason why so many of our members are successful. We like to compare ourselves to a Bloomberg terminal, right? Bloomberg terminals are the greatest trading software, financial piece of software that the world has to offer. Every hedge fund and professional trader around the globe has a Bloomberg terminal. Now, I might say, well, how come retail traders don't have it? Well, retail traders could get it if you wanted it. It's going to cost you $32,000 a year. If you want to pay for it, that's the reason why most retail traders don't have Bloomberg terminals, because that's an incredible amount of money for you to spend for 1 year to just have access to this trading software. But that software gives professional traders different pieces of data, analytics, tools, and resources that help them make better decisions. So at True Trading Group, we want to build something similar. So we call it our TTG terminal. We have built very similar tools that you would get access to in a Bloomberg terminal. And we actually, some of the data that we have is actually the exact same data that you would get as part of a Bloomberg terminal. So this is what we are building out through our partners at OpenAI, the NASDAQ, Unusual Whales, Benzinga, Data Bento, just to name a few, is a true platform that allows our members to make money. It's all that matters, right? That's why you guys are on this live stream, because you guys want to make money. That's what matters. That's what matters most, right? How many people are on here that are not members of True Trading Group? I'm just curious. If you guys are not members, type the letters TTG. If you guys are not part of True Trading Group, if you're not a member of the community, you're not a member of the platform or anything like that. You're not one of the 11,000. If you're not, like I said, just type the letters TTG if you guys are not. All right, we got JP. What's up, JP? Paul King, how are you? My boy Sean, what's up, brother? Hope you're doing very well. PFGT Jackie says, TTG, but I really want to be. Well, PFGT, I would love for you to be a member of True Trading Group. I would. Rose, how are you? Hope, Rose, you're doing very well. BB Nation, what's up? John Deere says, I used to be a member. John, we got to get you back in part of the family, brother. You're on the live streams. We got to get you back in. Brad, we got Jim Thompson. We got Vader was framed. Very cool. Very good. We got some new faces that are with us here. Here's what I'll say first before I say another word. John Deere, you used to be a member. Brother, send us a text message, okay? And because you used to be a member, I'll hook you up right here on the live, man. If you want to come back and join True Trading Group, a lot's probably changed since you've been a member. But if you used to be a member, send a text message to 1-888-621-2127 and just hit it right now. Just send us a text, 1-888-621-2127. Phone number's right down there at the bottom of your screen. We'll give you we'll give you a special deal to come back and join the TTG fam. And that goes for anybody else that's on the live stream. Or used to be a member, or maybe you used to be a trial member at one point, and you guys want to come join TTG now, text that number. We'll hook you up since you guys are not, you guys are familiar. You've been part of the group there in the past. We'll hook you up and do something special for you. Okay. So there you go. The phone number is right down there at the bottom of the screen. Shoot us a text. All right, shoot us a text. And then PFGT Jackie says, I really want to be a member. I would love for you to be a member. So here's what I'm going to do. I still have to give you my trade ideas for the week. I've got 5 different ticker symbols that are on my watch list. And it looks like we are going to be trying to break this level now, guys. Rose, who used to be a member too. Rose, I also need you to send a text message, Rose. If you used to be a member, I want you to send a text message. We'll do something special. We'll hook you up on this live stream because you used to be a member. If you want to come back to the TTG fam, we'll give you a really special deal. Okay. So Rose, you also send us a text message. John, send us a text message. Anybody else that used to be a member, text that number. We'll give you guys something special. All right. All right. So like I said, I will keep an eye on this 69.20 level, which again, still not cleared out, but it's being actively tested as we speak. We just printed a new low, failed to have any follow through, just popped it back up through prior low. So we're still just kind of churning through this support level at 69.20. Again, I feel like this level is going to break. Even if it doesn't break right now, I think it'll break throughout the week. I think it would even break, tomorrow, to be honest with you. But if it doesn't break in the overnight session, which I still think it might, I still feel pretty confident it's going to break this week. All right. So I'll keep an eye on it while we go through my watch list and everything else for the week. But for the rest of you that are not, if you're not Rose, if you're not John, if you didn't used to be a member, you can also feel free to text that phone number with any questions you guys have. Okay. You can text that number with any questions, any concerns. We're an open book. You'll talk to a real person, not a robot or some AI answering service. You'll talk to a real person. Text that number and we'll help you out any way that we can. I want you to go to ttgoffer.com. Again, that is ttgoffer.com if you are not a member. So if you're one of those people that were typing TTG, go to ttgoffer.com. There's a video there. If you click play, you'll see it's the same video from the beginning of the live stream. You'll see a quick run through of the tools and resources that are on the True Trading Group platform, like what makes the TTG terminal click. You guys will see that in that video, but also listed on that page is exactly everything that you're going to get included with your membership, including 30 trading plans generated through our Holy Grail tool. The Holy Grail tool is the newest AI trading tool that we have released on our platform. It's about two months old. It has currently just over a 70% win rate. It is an AI trading tool that you type in the ticker symbol that you want to trade. You select, well, first you got to type in, what do you want? A stock, an option, a crypto, or a futures contract. You select that. Then you put in the ticker symbol. So let's say you want to trade Tesla options. You would put in options, Tesla. You put your account size and how much money you want to risk on the trade. And then you just decide, do you want to scalp, a day trade, a swing trade, or a long-term investment? Select day trade, Tesla option, whatever, 25K account, $500 risk. Click run analysis. Sit back and wait 90 seconds, and then you get an entirely detailed trading plan generated for you with an entry, a stop loss, profit targets, position sizing, analysis, confidence score, 80% confidence, 65% confidence. It gives you price action to look out for, confirmation signals, when to get into the trade, what's the trigger for you to actually pull the trigger, generates it for you. It has over a 70% win rate over the last 2 months. It is a huge component of the reason why so many of our members are successful. So those of you that join here tonight, you go to ttgoffer.com. And of course, Rose and John, we're going to do something real special for you guys too. If you text in, you guys want to join, we're going to give you something special too for that. But anyone else that wants to join, you can go to ttgoffer.com and you're going to get that included as well. So you get our chat room. You're going to get Mari, the AI trading assistant. That's the recipient of the Benzinga FinTech Awards. The chat room, all the real-time data, the charting tools, all of our courses and educational library, the True Trading Group community. We have our own social network with, where our over 10,000 members, communicate and talk and share ideas and everything like that. All of this for $647 for the year. Okay, it's $647 for the year. You go to ttgoffer.com And those of you that are joining here tonight, you're also going to get a double your money back guarantee. Listen, I know I talk a big game on these live streams. I do. I get it. But we back it up with our own money. We literally put our money where our mouth is. Because when you join True Trading Group, you pay $647. If you can't make it back, we give you back $1,294. We give you back double your money. Now, here's how this works. Okay? When you join, you got to go through our courses and then pass the quizzes. Okay? You have to actually go through the educational material. Log into our website at least 50 times throughout the course of the year. So you actually have to use the platform. And then you actually have to trade with real money. And if you do those things and you cannot make back $647 at least one time during your membership, we're not going to give you back just $647. We'll give you back double, $1,294. Now, the reason I can offer you that, A, I'm confident as all hell in the platform we've created and the chances that it's going to help you become successful. That's first and foremost, just because I see the results that other members have. But the second reason why I can do that is because the refund rate at True Trading Group is actually less than 2.5%. If our refund rate was 12%, we wouldn't be able to do double your money back. True Trading would go out of business. Okay. But because it's such a low number, I don't mind offering double your money back to put my money where my mouth is. And when you decide you're going to invest in TTG, meaning you're going to spend $647, you're going to invest in this platform, we're going to invest in that with you. So we're going to put that $647 up with you. Now, if you make your $647 back, great. We're going to keep ours and you're now a member and we're good. But if you don't, then we're going to give you back yours and we're going to give you ours as well. And that's the way I think it should be. That's where I think it should be. Because at the end of the day, that's what you're here for. You're here to make money. You're here to become successful. And if our tools are as good as we say they are, if our platform is as good as we say it is, if our moderators and trainers and traders and mentors are as good as we say they are, then you should be able to make back $647. That's how I see it. So go to ttgoffer.com. Everything on that page is included. Any questions, text us. Okay, 1-888-621-2127. Wow, we got a lot of comments here. Keith says, TTG is the real deal, folks. Plenty of tools and resources that would fit your trading style. It's constantly evolving to enhance your style. Looking for a place to learn, change my life, and many others over the 4 years of my journey here. Amazing group of people. Stacking chips. What's up, my brother? Hope you're doing well. Keith, I hope you're doing well too. My boy Nav Greg says, I've been with this group 6, maybe 7 years. I'm a proud member. I've learned so much and I am profiting. Be patient. That's Nav Greg. Many of us went lifetime and lifetime all access. They will have to pay my family the ransom to take me back because I'm not leaving. Look at that. My boy Zero goes, don't make the same mistake that I did. Don't waste your membership. I just started taking advantage of all the tools that they have. And now I've gotten almost all of the money that I've gotten all of the money back that I lost last year. Insane. Look at that. So that's what I'm saying. These are real people, guys. These are real people, real members, real experiences. Go to ttgoffer.com. If you have any questions, text us. Rose, you make sure you text us. And John Deere, you also make sure you text us. Okay, but anybody else, feel free to text with any questions that you guys have. All right. With that, let me go back. I took futures off my screen by accident, and we are still churning through this level. It looks to me like we're going to break. We might drop this into 6,900 here soon. My boy David, what's up, brother? Says it's a great platform and fantastic people. Been a lifetime member for 4 years now. It's an amazing group. Thank you very much for the kind words. All right, guys, let's go over some of these. Let's go over some of my trade ideas. Now, a couple of positions I'm already in, right? So let's go over that. I'm already short Robinhood, okay? And I'm already short iBit, okay? I also am long Zoom. I got a feeling I'm probably going to get stopped out the rest of this Zoom trade. We're down we're down over 1% on future on the NASDAQ. We're down 0.7 on S&P. My stop loss on Zoom is just underneath 90. So like 89 and a half or so is going to be where I'll stop out the rest of Zoom. We did get some profits off on the long, but I still do have some. So I am still long Zoom, but my stop loss is going to literally be like right here. All right, so we'll see how that works out there on that. So just full disclosure, these are positions I'm already in. Robinhood is one that we've already taken a bunch of profits off. We're short here on this breakthrough, this 104, and the retest, and we got a nice extension here down to 99. I'm looking for more follow through on this. I'm looking for Robinhood to get down to like 95, 96. So I am looking for more follow through here. I'm still short and looking for more, right? We're looking for more to get down to this zone for us to take some more profits off the table. And then we are also short IBIT. Okay. We just have crushed this trade. And if Bitcoin just stays where it is, we still, where are we at? 77. Yeah, we're 77. So we're going to open this up. You're going to open this up tomorrow. If we just stay where Bitcoin's at right now, you're going to open this up on IBIT down here. So this is going to be a big trade for us. So we're taking profits off most likely tomorrow morning. We're going to take profits off on the Robinhood short in the mid 90s. I'm going to take profits off around 45, 45 and a half on the IBIT short. These are positions I'm already in. Okay. All right. I also wanted to mention all of the members of True Trading Group, because I always share with you my long-term portfolio moves. I actually nibbled on Bitcoin in my long-term portfolio. I am short IBIT in my Lightspeed account for the swing trade from a week ago. But in my long-term portfolio and for my crypto, I just have a Coinbase account. And the only crypto I own are Bitcoin and Ethereum. But I did log in there this weekend on my Coinbase account, and I grabbed some at 76. So I took a little nibble at 76. I still think Bitcoin goes lower, but the mid 70s is a big support level. If I take you guys over to Bitcoin, this level right here, see these mid 70s, like mid to low 70s. Oh, here's the breakdown from, here's the bear flag breakdown. Real nice clean breakdown of a bear flag there on Bitcoin. We crushed this trade, guys. Just crushed this trade. But here we go. You take a look back here at Bitcoin. The previous breakout and rally to new all-time highs, you had this massive zone of resistance in the low 70s, right? And then you see one more little tap there, resistance in October of 24 before the big rally, right? This was the election rally. Everyone looked at Trump as very pro crypto, and you got the huge explosion on Bitcoin. And then you pulled it back in January and then the tariffs and Liberation Day, and that big pullback took you right back to where? Took you right back into that level of the mid to low 70s. And then you rallied from there to new all-time highs, right? And when you got to new all-time highs, you put in a triple top here at 125 and then rolled it over. Once you rolled it over, you then put in a bear flag, and now you've broken out of the bear flag. So this takes you right into this key support level. I personally think Bitcoin never makes it easy, right? Bitcoin is driven by momentum. It is also driven by leverage and exaggerated moves. And you've had around $5 billion worth of crypto longs liquidated over the last, couple of days, which makes it the largest crypto liquidation since the October 10th situation from last year. So I wouldn't be surprised, and am expecting Bitcoin to overshoot this level, because Bitcoin typically doesn't nail levels like that. It usually will pierce the level, overshoot it with momentum, and then recover it later. So I nibbled at 76. I will buy more closer to 70, like 72, 73. And then my last would be if we shoot through 70 and 68 and a half, and then I would buy some there. So those are going to be the spots where I'm going to be a buyer of Bitcoin. Now, in previous bear markets that Bitcoin has had, which Bitcoin is in a bear market now, you have had 80% declines in Bitcoin many times before throughout prior cycles. An 80% decline takes you back to 25,000. I am not saying Bitcoin goes back to 25,000. I'm also not waiting for Bitcoin to go back to 25,000 for me to buy some. I will be a very active buyer in the 60s if we're trading in the 60s. Like this consolidation from 2024, if we get back into that consolidation, I will be a very active buyer in this range. I'll be a very active buyer. Okay. So I already took a nibble. I just bought some here at 76. I'll buy some more probably here, and then I'll get very active and really build a larger position, in that zone. And if we go lower than that, so be it. I don't care. It's my long-term portfolio. I'm not trying to get the lowest price. I'm just trying to get a good price. And even if Bitcoin goes down to, 40K, if I bought a bunch here in the 60s, did I get the lowest price? No. Did I get a good price? Yes. And that's all I care about in my long-term portfolio. If you plan on holding on to this for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, who cares, right? If you're one of those people that thinks Bitcoin's going to 1 million, who cares? So my long-term portfolio, those are the places I'm going to start to do some buying. All right. That's that. All right. So those are positions I'm already in. Let's now get into some new stocks that we're looking at. My watch list is dominated short, but I have one long just in case, just because I like to always have one idea, even though I'm bearish coming into the, even though I am, even though I'm bearish, coming into the month, I'll have a long just, in case I'm wrong, right? I want to have something that I can go to if I realize that I am wrong. And that stock I'm going to go to is going to be Apple. Apple just reported earnings last week, and they were amazing. A blowout quarter from Apple. And you almost have also a little inverse head and shoulders here, right? Left shoulder, right shoulder, and there's your head. And then you have a very obvious resistance level here at 262, right? So here's your neckline at 262. You also have the 100-day moving average, this purple line. So if Apple was to break above that, I would want to be long. Okay? I would want to be long. All right? So listen, it's going to be tough. I mean, the NASDAQ's down over 1% right now. The S&P is down 0.7. It's going to be tough for any one of these large names with a high beta and high correlation to the index. It's going to be tough for them to really move higher. So you're really going to need, a big recovery on futures into tomorrow morning. And if the futures recover overnight and we wake up tomorrow morning and let's say the S&P is only down 0.2 and let's say Apple's gapping up, let's say Apple shows relative strength. Let's say Apple's at 260, meaning it's green because it closed at 259. And the S&P recovers overnight and we wake up tomorrow morning, we're down 0.2, 0.18. That's a situation where I'm going to go long Apple. Now we wake up tomorrow morning and Apple's at 256 and the S&P is down 1%. I'm not going after, I'm not going to go after Apple long if that's the case. I'm not going to go after if that's the case. All right, so that's Apple. All right, let's go over the other ones. Like I said, I'm already short Robinhood. All right, I'm already short Robinhood. This was a nice breakdown of this 104 level, and this is still going to be on my list, right? We broke through this 200-day moving average. We popped back up into it to retest it on Friday, became resistance. We sold it off. We got a really nice short entry on Friday, right into here, and then we just rolled it over in the afternoon. So this is a really big one for us. And I'm just looking for more. And honestly, if you're not in this trade yet, I even think that there's probably some room here. I think that maybe any bounce back into 100, I think is shortable. And I think there's more meat left on this bone. So I know I told you I'm already in this position, and I am. But if you're not in this position, I do think there's still meat on this bone into the mid, maybe even low 90s. Next up, United Health. United Health had a huge gap down on the news about the no change in rates, the Medicaid rates, Medicare rates. And that gap down took you underneath this really big support level, right? Took you underneath that big support level. And on that same day, you tried to recover it, and you can see over these last couple of days, it's been a resistance. What I'm going to look for here on United Health is if you break 280, you should fill this gap. Okay. If you break 280, I think you fill this gap down to the low 270s. All right. So we're going to keep this on watch. 280 was this gap fill. 280 was the low of the day from the news event. And I think that there is enough negativity surrounding these health insurers that there's more downside. Okay, so a break of 280 is what we're going to look for, and then get down there and close and fill that gap. Then if the market really does roll over, this next stock, I'm only going to go after this short if the market really does roll over. Okay, because the stock is relatively strong right now because of earnings. It's Meta. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to go in and I want to go shorting Meta aggressively if the market does actually bounce back and recover, because there's a support level here on Meta around 700 to 710, and it's previous support from October. And this is actually not a real print. This support level that you have back here from October, we had this huge gap up on earnings. You can see we kind of faded that on Friday, but that has created a nice double bottom here. And if this double bottom breaks, this earnings gap up should fade. Okay. Right. I think this is going to fade. If you break that double bottom, and that double bottom to be exact is 713. Okay, so it's one of those lows is 712.50, the other is 713. So if that breaks, I think that you probably see Meta fade here a bit and then get down and kind of just give back this earnings gap up. And then look what happens once you get to 680. When you get to 680, you have your 200 and your 100-day moving average. And then you have the 9 EMA that's also working its way up. That's a beautiful support level. Okay. That's a beautiful support level. I think we're going to 680, maybe even 675. All right. Again, I think all of these trades are going to pan out. I'm just giving you if the markets reverse overnight, we've seen crazier stuff happen. I am telling you I'm bearish coming into the month of February. I am looking for shorts. My watch list is dominated short. I'm looking at short bounces. I think the 69.20 level on the S&P breaks. I think the NASDAQ has solidified a double top. I think your tech stocks have more room to the downside. So I'm looking for shorts. So I think these are going to work out well. So, but we'll see. So I'm looking at that 675, 680 zone for Meta to kind of give back more of that earnings gap up. And then this is kind of on the back of you have Qualcomm earnings this week, of AMD earnings. So you have some semiconductors, Qualcomm more on the phone side, ARM on the phone side as well. So we're going to look at ARM as kind of a little bit of a sympathy play to some of the other semiconductor action that we have. I just think this stock has been so incredibly weak for the last several months. I just think it just sells off. I just think the stock just continues to bleed. I just think ARM just continues to bleed. All right. And then maybe honestly, 95, 96, right? 95, 96 is what I'm going to look for. So let's look at a break of, what is this, 105? So we'll look at a break of the 104, and then I'll short anything 102 to 105, anything in there I'll be short. I'll short anything from 102 to 105. And then we're going to target $95. Okay? That's ARM. All right, guys? So there you have it. Apple, Robinhood, United Health, Meta, ARM, obviously iBit with Bitcoin. All these are on my list here to start the week. Now, I'm going to add to that list as we go on, right? So, no, I did not yet add to my Palantir. I did not yet add to my Palantir. I almost did, but when I logged into my long-term account, I put an order in. The stock had already moved, and my order never filled. So I'm probably going to so my target here to add to Palantir. So let me answer the Palantir question. I just saw a couple of people were commenting about Palantir. So you have a support level here on Palantir in the 140s. I'll show you right now. There it is. Okay, there's your 140 zone. You guys can see all the resistance from June. Then you broke above it in July. Support, 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 right? So there's your nice little support zone. That's one left. No, yeah, Phil, I was going to. If you remember that day, I was like, all right, yeah, guys, I'm going to do it. Let me go. Let me open my account and put an order in. And I opened my account. I put an order in, and the stock just I didn't get filled. The stock just ran away. I didn't do a market order. I just put an order in. It just ran, and I actually never filled. So I haven't added to this position yet. I recently, okay. We got to welcome Jacqueline, guys. Jacqueline just joined. Everybody welcome Jacqueline. Jacqueline is the newest member of True Trading Groups. Everybody welcome Jacqueline. Jacqueline, welcome to the fam. Everybody welcome Jacqueline. Guys, again, go to ttgoffer.com. Everything on that page is included. You got the double your money back guarantee as well. And if you have any questions, just text us, 1-888-621-2127. You also have a little head and shoulders here, right? You also have a head and shoulders here that's happening, okay? Left shoulder, right shoulder. It's not a clean head and shoulders. It's really not. It's not a clean head and shoulders, but it's there. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline. It's just not the cleanest of head and shoulders, but it is there. And then at neckline are these 140s. Now, they have earnings tomorrow. So tomorrow after the close, Palantir is going to report earnings. I have absolutely no idea which direction the stock's going to go. I don't guess on earnings, but what I will tell you is this is the first time the stock has broken underneath the 200-day moving average in 4 years or 3 years. The last time Palantir was underneath the 200-day moving average was January of 2023. So I think that is significant. And I think that Palantir probably trades further down. And I think that this is your next pretty major support zone, which is going to be the 120s. Now, what I've done with my Palantir, now I own Palantir in my long-term portfolio, but I trimmed it, which is going down as one of my greatest trims ever. I trimmed Palantir at 206.5 the day they reported earnings in November. So they were reporting earnings on November 3rd. This was a Monday. And I took profit off prior to the close at 206.5. And then they had earnings and the stock gapped down and it's just traded lower ever since. The amount of money and shares, rather, that I sold out of on this day is going to be going back into Palantir in here. So I'm just recycling the exact, what I took out at 206.5 is going to be going back into Palantir down here. But I'd say the 140s is a good spot to take a bite. And then the 120s is a spot where I would, make yourself lunch. Don't just take a bite, make yourself lunch. If you get into the 120s, I think that is a wonderful spot to be a buyer in the long-term portfolio for Palantir. Okay. And then you have AMD earnings on Tuesday, which I think are going to be, pretty critical. You have a solid double top in place right now on AMD. You see this double top up there at 267 and a major support level down there at 200, and you're stuck right in the middle. So, really to maybe break out of that range, you have earnings on Tuesday. Then you have Alphabet, which is the strongest of them all. Alphabet would not, you wouldn't know that the markets, pulled back on Friday or Thursday. Alphabet's still sitting up at all-time highs. They have earnings as well on Wednesday, and then Amazon is Thursday. All right. So I'll be live on YouTube, probably during the week to cover these earnings live. If I don't go live on YouTube, I'll be live on the True Trading Group platform. Now, obviously, if I do that, you have to be a member of True Trading Group to join that. But I'll probably, maybe for Alphabet or for Amazon, I'll probably come on YouTube and I'll cover it live for you guys on YouTube. Okay. And we'll go through what the results are, what the stock's reaction is, and where we're going to look to how we're going to trade the stock, right? I don't position myself before earnings. Earnings to me are a coin flip. I don't know if they're going to beat. I don't know if they're going to miss. I don't know if they're going to raise guidance or lower guidance, or I don't know what the CEO is going to say on a conference call. You can have a company come out with blowout earnings and the stock still goes down. You can have a company come out with crap earnings and the stock still goes up. Like I don't like coin flips. To me, earnings are more of a coin flip. You're kind of just guessing. I like to wait, let the earnings come out, see how the stock reacts, and then I have a fundamental catalyst of news coupled with a technical setup for whatever the technical analysis is that I have. And that gives me a very high probability situation to put myself in rather than going long or going short and just and hoping I'm right. So that's why I don't come on here and say, all right, guys, I think Amazon's going to crush earnings. We should all buy call options that expire on Friday and hope that they go up. And I don't do that. I just wait, let them report earnings, and I trade it after the fact. We got to welcome Dale. Everybody welcome Dale. Dale's the newest member of True Trading Group, guys. Welcome Dale. Oh, and Dale rejoined. Dale used to be a member, rejoined. That's what I'm talking about. I love to see that. Dale, welcome. And again, anybody else that used to be a member, even if you used to be a trial member, guys, send us a text message. I'm telling you, you used to be part of the group. We'll hook you up. We'll give you guys something real special. You guys want to come back and join. Send a text. That's 1-888-621-2127. The website to go to is ttgoffer.com. And like I said, text us with any questions. That phone number is right there on the bottom of your screen. And that wraps it up, guys. That does it for me. That's where we're at. So you guys know, kind of to sum things up, I'm looking for a pullback in the month of February. I think February is going to be a red month, or at least give us a pullback. It's what I'm getting ready for. If I'm wrong about that, I've got Apple in my back pocket for a possible long setup if I'm wrong about that, but I feel pretty good about it. I like the analysis. These are my trade ideas. If that changes, I'll let you guys know. I have 3 open positions already from last week that we have taken profits on. All of them. I've taken profits on Zoom. I've taken profits on the Bitcoin trade. I've taken profits on Robinhood, but I'm still holding on to some of those positions. Okay. Do I think NVIDIA goes down in recent weeks? Blaze, I do. I do believe that NVIDIA goes down in recent weeks as well. I think that the entire NASDAQ and overall market does trade back to the downside. But, NVIDIA, I almost put NVIDIA on my watch list to start out because I like the resistance in the low to mid 190s. But I decided not to put it on my watch list just because the stock has been so choppy. It's in such an obvious consolidation phase. I don't like to trade stocks when they're in consolidation phases. They get very choppy. There's not a lot of momentum, and the risk reward gets skewed, and the probability of pattern is also less. So when a stock is in consolidation, I usually don't trade them. But I do think that it's more likely that, NVIDIA, trades back down into these moving averages, the 50 and the 100, rather than breaking out through this resistance in the mid 190s. Okay. I'll also leave you with a little bit more of an advanced kind of high risk trade. My boy Sean Johnson's already all over. Do you think SanDisk goes down as well? So I do think these memory stocks also go down. SanDisk is going to be a tough one. They had blowout earnings, but as we saw last week with silver and gold, nothing goes up forever. So I do think that the more likely direction here is going to be down, and I do think that you get something that looks like. I think that SanDisk goes back to 500. At least the low 500s. But Western Digital had far worse earnings. And that's already kind of wiped things out. And I think that Western Digital goes to like at least 230, maybe 220. So I am looking at these stocks. They didn't make it to my top 5, but I am looking at Western Digital and SanDisk, and then also Micron. I am looking at them for possible shorts. What's the floor on SLV? I'm glad you asked. It's 50. I know that probably just made you go, what? like that scene from Top Gun when he's like, I'm gonna draw him in closer. I'm gonna let him get closer. And the guy and Merlin in the back goes, you're gonna let him do what? That's what I feel like everybody just said. Yes, the floor is 50. Whether you like it or not, the floor is 50. Now, where do I get that from? Well, you got to go back to the 2011 high. The 2011 high on SLV was right around 50. And then the previous high before this massive breakout was also 48, 49, 50, right? So there's your resistance level right there prior to this recent short squeeze. And then that was the 2011 high. When you broke the 2011 all-time high on SLV, that's when the short squeeze really started. So this all started against that $48 to $50 level, right? That's when it all started. Now, I'm not telling you that we're just going to go straight down until you get to 50, but your question was very specific. Where's the floor? I do not believe SLV gets back underneath 50. Okay. But if it gets to this level, I am absolutely going long. I think that is a massive technical level that will be support if and when it's engaged with. You can set a price alert, whether it happens in a month or in 6 months. When SLV gets to $50, if and when it gets to $50, I am going to go long. 48, 49, 50, I will be a buyer if and when it gets there. All right? All right, folks, that does it. Until tomorrow, keep eyes on the futures. Like I said, I do think this level breaks, but we've got 12 hours to go before markets open up. A lot can change between now and then, but I am gearing up for, like I said, a red month of February. Okay? That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the live. Hope you feel better prepared for the week. We got some great trade ideas that we can target. We got some great trades we're already in. And we got tons of catalysts. Earnings from Palantir, AMD, Alphabet, Amazon, the U.S. labor report, tons of stuff going on. Craziness in GLD and SLV. And I think it's going to be a wild week filled with volatility, guys. Let's kill it. Let's kill it. All right. Welcome all of our new members. If you have any questions, text us 1-888-621-2127, ttgoffer.com. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night. Subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button. Show some love. Take care, guys.